Hello, everyone. Welcome to Black Cats TV, and we're here to give you a little transfer roundup of everything that happened during that window. I'm joined, as always, by Conrad. How you doing, Conrad?
I'm all right. I've got several layers on. I've just come in from the outside. It's freezing, so please don't judge too much. But I'm cold, and I don't want to put the heating on.
We need more subscribers so Conrad can put the heating on. So if you're one of those that haven't subscribed yet, take this moment now to click the subscribe button. Absolutely free, but it'll help get Conrad a warm.
For every 1,000 subscribers, I'll remove a layer of clothing.
Don't do that. They'll start unsubscribing for you to get dressed. Right. Transfers. It wasn't the most exciting end to a transfer window that we were hoping for. Lots of rumours, and we had like 300 or 400 people join us for that last hour on our live stream, which was awesome. Thank you very much. But yeah, not much over the line. Sky Sports told us about Dans, but the club didn't announce it till like lunchtime the next day. Something like that.
Yeah, it was like 1 o'clock. I think I texted you saying, "No, he's been announced now. Finally done."
So let's have a quick breakdown of who's come in. I mean, we'll put Wilson aside. Enzo Laffi from Roma. That was an absolute coup. We've got him on loan with an obligation to buy if we go to the Premier League, if I'm understanding it correctly. Do we know what the price for the obligation to buy is?
I heard it was somewhere in the region of 16 million. I might be wrong, but I remember distinctively hearing about it's going to be more than the money that we paid for Undong. So it would put it at around that. So I think the Undong was about 13. So it would make sense that it's around that sort of mark, of course, there.
The question is that a fixed price, do you think? Or could they jack that up?
I think it's probably a fixed fee, because I seem to remember at the time Ranieri, the boss at Roma, was saying that he didn't really want to let him go because he hadn't really seen much of him, but he couldn't necessarily promise him game time. And they said the finances in terms of the deal for Roma made sense as well, because they're not paying any of his wages now, so it doesn't cost them anything for him to be out here. And if Sunderland do get promoted and pay for him, when Sunderland get promoted, we're paying more money for him than they paid for him 6 months ago.
Yeah, so they're making a tiny profit.
Sense. Yeah, exactly. So for them, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, and I mean, he's looking great, right? He's looking really good at the moment.
Better and better every game, I'd have to say. There was the flashes of brilliance at Burnley where that outside of the football through to Isidor when he clipped the post, bent it round like 3 players doing that, and he just seemed to be tormenting them. Then Derby, he got an assist that was wrongly chalked off for no reason whatsoever. So you saw him getting in a bit more with the team. The Plymouth game, I didn't watch it. I can't say I noticed him too much during the Plymouth game.
Did well, had some good moments as he does,
Good. Then obviously the Middlesbrough game, he was all over the shop doing absolutely everything for us. A couple of shots himself, a sort of semi-assist for the first when he played the ball into ring, an amazing through ball through for Isidor for the second, and then an absolutely unplayable cross for the third that Giles.
Got to talk about the little turn where he megged him as well.
Of course. Yeah. I see you've uploaded a short of it there. It's beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like the one bit of skill that I can do in football, but I've never managed to get it that right. Like when you do that step, I can get that bit, but I'm just like, there's no way I'm ever getting that spot on. It's not going to work out that way. And it was
under that much pressure as well.
Well, we were 1-0 down at the time, weren't we? And we were so early on in the game, and I think it was sort of almost like a marker to the right back to be like, I'm going to have your life for the rest of this game now. Like, I'm not going to give you a moment, because, I mean, the touch for the cross as well for the third goal. So 09 just hoofed the ball up in the air, and he sort of thought, this isn't awkward. So what he does is he just runs at it, and with his first touch, just fires it in front of him to chase after it while he's already on the sprint. And you're sitting there going, I'd have had to take 3 touches to get to where you're going to do this, and I couldn't guarantee I'd have controlled either one of them. But as you were sprinting, you just went bang and perfectly weighted out in front of him just to get ahead of Ayling, and unbelievable play,
quality player. Last question on him: We're investing for the future. We're
Mm-hmm.
striving for promotion. We're going up this season. Is he a Premier League player? Is he straight in there?
He looks a Premier League player, doesn't he? I would definitely say so. I mean, it's hard to tell after 4 games, but you can just tell he's instantly a class above everyone else we've got so far, easily, and probably a class above everyone else he's played with. It reminds me of when, was it Wolves bought Ruben Neves in the Championship, and everyone was a bit like, how have you done that? Like, that's just not fair. And as soon as they went up, he was still just as good in the Premier League and pulling the strings. So if we can, when we get promoted this season, I just think he'll be that leading light for us next season as well.
Yeah. Cool. So
he's
Enzo
a 12 out of 10 in rating, 12 out of 10 signing.
12 out of 10. He's a loan, but he is an obligation to buy, so I'm classing that as a signing. The next one is just a loan. There's no purchase at the end of it because he's such a young lad. It's Jaden Dans, announced the day after deadline day. We saw it announced on different media outlets on the night or spoke of, and then obviously announced by the club the day after. Now I've got Liverpool friends who said he's amazing. He's brilliant. You know, he needs more time on the pitch. So what do you think? Do you think it's a backup player, or do you think he's going to get straight in? Have you seen much of him?
I can't say I've seen much of him, to be honest, but I have heard similar things from my friends who support Liverpool, that they're a bit sort of like, oh, we kind of wanted him to be challenging for the sort of central role. Obviously not a starter or anything, but at least getting some game time on the pitch. So I think we've done a bit of a coup in going, well, can we have him for 6 months then and sort of see where we go? They obviously, we were talking about it the other day when on our live stream, that, you know, teams like Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool are obviously looking at us going, well, look at them for developing young players. So, like, Ahmad's gone straight through to, you know, pretty much first team for Man United. Burstow's maybe not quite worked out as well, but we gave him a chance. We gave him plenty of game time to do it. So Chelsea
he just didn't look like he ever wanted it, Burstow.
But at least Chelsea were able to then see that and go, okay, well, we've made a decision on it without having to do it themselves. And it's a similar thing here where I think they'll go, okay, well, let's give him in. So I think it's more, he'll get 20 minutes, half an hour at the end of games, potentially start one if Isidor's carrying a bit of a knock or something. And he'll be that one that comes on and sort of goes, like, now you can still run them ragged, of course. And I think we were talking about, is it a profile signing? A profile player, where he fits the profile of what Isidor can do in terms of how he links in with the team and how he's
so he can slot us in a quick replacement. Yeah,
exactly. And we were talking about that with Goebbels when we were talking about him being a potential signing, and others, that we look for a style of play forward rather than just he scores.
He's a 6 foot odd. I think he's 6 foot. Exactly, forward. He's played as a centre forward 31 times, 18 goals and 4 assists in 31 games.
Is that in Premier League 2 as well, is it?
Well, I'll go through that in a second because that's interesting as well. Left winger, 5 times played as a left winger, 4 goals and 2 assists in them 5 games. 3 games as a right winger, nothing. Don't stick him on the right.
Yeah, not right player.
Second striker, 1 appearance, 2 goals. Attacking midfielder, 1 appearance, 1 goal. He performs every time. Now, let's have a look at his career, his whole career, because he's only a young lad. The stats we've got are from 2021.
Okay.
And he starts in the Liverpool youth and the under 18s Premier League and stuff like that. And he gets a full season, 22 to 23, after coming through the ranks. 17 games, 9 goals, 2 assists. Then he gets to play in the EFL Trophy. An appearance. Then he's back in, carries on the next season for the under 18s, 9 goals, 2 assists in 9 games. So that's a goal a game plus 2 assists. Plays the FA Youth Cup, 3 appearances, 5 goals. The actual EFL Cup with the senior team, 1 appearance. The FA Cup, 1 appearance, 2 goals. Europa League, Premier League, UEFA Youth League, EFL Cup, FA Cup, full Premier League and UEFA Champions League, and he's had appearances and goals in most of them. He performs every time he's on the pitch.
Yeah, he seems very, what's the word? well, direct, I'm going to say, just because he knows where the net is, no matter where he's playing, whether you said out left or out in attacking midfield, second striker, centre forward, he knows where the net is. And no matter what level, he's not fazed by it as well. So I'm kind of hoping he comes with a little bit of an attitude of like, I should be at Liverpool, but I'll show them. Do you know what I mean? Just, I really want him to have the bit between his teeth. I don't want him to come here and almost be, not that he will, of course, I'm hoping he doesn't. Not that he will, but I don't want him to come in and go, it's all right. I'll just be here 5 months and then I'm back to, I want to almost go
that's the kind of the Burstow attitude you had. But
yeah.
The weird thing about him, I don't know how accurate this is. Transfer market, we use it quite often. Transfermarket.co.uk. His value in April 24 was £1 million.
Okay.
Now it's 800,000 euros. His value's dropped.
Mm.
And I just don't know if that's just based on not getting any game time at all.
Probably, but
he's got 9 under 18 England caps.
I would probably say that's a bit of a dodgy rating on transfer market because he's young and English, I assume, therefore, and has huge potential. They'd be expecting way more money for somebody like. I mean, look at us with Tommy Watson. He's played 3 games, and we were demanding nearly like 12 million for him. There's no way they go, oh, he's at Liverpool scoring goals at most level, 800k.
I don't know why, and you might hate me for this. I get Ahmad vibes that he's going to come on and he's going to be absolutely amazing every time he comes on. Then we're going to want to sign him, and it's just not.
But we can't. Yeah.
That's the vibes I get. Anyway, Jaden Dans, loan player, no obligation to buy, no option to buy. Yeah. We're just developing him for Liverpool.
Just as a last thing on him, I think it was one of those. We obviously knew throughout the last week, it seemed we were throwing money at lots of clubs and lots of options of strikers and things like that there. So I don't think it was that we were necessarily looking for a loan backup option. I think time was ticking and we only had Isidor and Mayenda really as our forwards and we needed somebody. So they went down the loan route. I don't think it was them being tight with the purse strings and not wanting another forward. We saw them throw in 13 millions at Cannon and, Diaz and other players just not getting them. So it was one of those, I think it was like, okay, we're running out of time. Let's get a young potential lad in, get him here, see what he can do, and then we'll reassess this again in the summer. That's where I think it sort of came from.
Yeah. I think he's going to be good for us this season. He's the kind of person we need. That's the kind of backup you want. You're not going to be rolling your eyes like when Connolly used to come on for the last 10
minutes. I want him to be, not that I want Isidor out of the team, I want him to be challenging Isidor. Do you know what I mean? You want them
two up front. Two up front. Sorry.
I want to see all 3 up front with 15 in defence. No.
4-3-3.
Yeah.
4-3-3. Right. Last signing. We already had him.
Yeah.
He was a loan. We had the option to buy come the end of the season, but we've done it now. £5 million for Isidor, or 4.4, whatever you want to hear the rumours. £5 million, the one I've heard recently, from Zenit St. Petersburg, making him a permanent player. What do you think of that? Some people looking from the outside in saying you've decided to keep the guy that missed 2 penalties.
The thing is, he didn't miss 2 penalties; they were saved. Like
put it in the same place twice.
Yeah,
but exactly. Anyway, regardless, what do you think? Is it?
It's a smart bit of business. I think I was very much in the camp of I wanted us to try and make him permanent if it was a cheaper fee. Now I think that loan agreements tend to run until the end of June, even if they go back earlier. And it's so that then if the transfer window is open in July, there's no agreement in place anymore and teams can, redo the deals. So I have a feeling if we was doing well and we'd have then asked in summer, in July, they'd have gone, oh yeah, but we want this for him now because he was doing really well for you. Whereas
bidding war,
whereas I think we've done the smart thing going, that deal's in place, we'll have it, that's fine. And also we've seen touch wood so far. He's not injured. Hardly ever. He's obviously a great, person to have around the team. If you've watched any of the or access all areas or even the other videos they do, he's clearly a well-liked character within the dressing room, and the fans all love him. So
great interaction with the fans.
Yeah,
great. Did you see what the shop did this week?
Yes, I did, and I saw that he went down and seen it as well. Stood in front of his shirt with the with the flag as well.
Shirtless mannequin, absolutely love it.
I've seen
I'm
this
actually
selling T-shirts already with it on.
the amount of bad air we've had around our club over the last 10, 15 years with different owners and stuff like that. Obviously, like when Quinn was like part owner, it was different because he had a history with the club. But in general, it's the best I think it's felt around the club. Like everything's
definitely.
clicking. Nobody's jumping on their backs for broken hair dryers.
Yeah.
The
I'll tell you
fans
one
are
thing we
loving
haven't
every
heard
game.
in a long time, which was a constant theme for the last 2 years, which is Speakman and KLD aren't doing enough almost, or like they're not putting their money in. It's gone completely quiet, and I don't know if that's because of January when they were just going, we'll have 13 million for Cannon. Everyone went, where have you got that money from? Or, and there'll still be the rumblings of they haven't used the Clark money, they haven't used the Stewart money, and
but this could be just really shrewd business. We know that Speakman's good at shrewd business, like for signings and stuff like that, and some of the players he's brought in, and he's managed
and just
to
his deals in general with other clubs.
Managing to get these players when we're in lower leagues and stuff like that. He's been really good, so I can't slate him at all. I think it was just the whole stigma of we had terrible head coaches, so people then decided that Speakman was picking the team, which there was no foundation of.
No.
There was no foundation to it at all. It was just, we need someone to blame.
Yeah.
But because, I hate to say it, and like say, touch wood, the good times seem to be back again at the Stadium of Lights. We don't need to blame anyone for anything, right?
No,
you can accidentally paint the bar black and white. We'll just go, ha, idiots.
That bit is always will sit there as a like. That's never going to go away. I think we could almost be on the verge of winning the Premier League, and if they did something wrong, be like, "Do you remember that time you painted the bar black and white?" Like, it's like one of those things where, like, an angry wife will always just keep something in the back of her mind ready to just bring up again. We're like that.
Do you think they were sitting on this cash pot until we looked ready for the Premier League?
Potentially, or that I think it's as we've said before that the model has evolved from what it was, which was, we do very small fees if possible for very young players with potential. We do deals about sign-on fees and stuff like that, and that's how we do this. We don't pay for anyone who's over the age of this much. We get them in on frees and releases, and we'll do that. But I think was it summer just gone when they just went, all right, 3 million on Alexic, and we were like, that's a strange one. Like, not played many games, but all right, 3 million, fair enough. You obviously think of him quite highly. And then as soon as we go into this one, they're just like, yep, loan for this Champions League player with a 16 million obligation. Bang, there you go. And we're just like, what? Like, where's the two? Like, how did you go from there to up here? I'm glad you did, but like, how did you suddenly just spin it up? And it might be exactly as you say that they go, we're in this promotion race, and we're not just near it; we're actually in it. And with a little bit of investment, we could easily be in the top two. So I think they've gone, right, let's go for it. We've got the money, let's go.
And I think that they're very shrewd with stuff like this, and I think they've looked at when we go up, right? So if we'd have come straight up into the Championship and got promoted straight after again, every penny from that promotion would have had to have gone on getting a couple of players in, 1 or 2 players to try and fight survival, right? Instead, they've built a team up that Premier League teams are chomping at the bit to try and sign our players. They've built this up, and the money's already there now. We've got a little pile of money as well, and we'll get the money for the promotion. We could go up and actually be a sustainable, regular Premier League team.
We've got players in there who would just play straight away in the Premier League, and I'm sitting there going, right, well, we've got Isidor, you've got Roberts, you've got Mundell, you've got Neil, Bellingham and Rick. I think Brown could do a job. That wasn't meant to be disrespectful. Hume, Ballard, Sturkin, Patterson's a good goalie. I'm sitting there going, right, well, I'd love 09 to play, but is he good enough? Well, let's see. I don't fear him playing in the Premier League, of course. So he's sitting there going, okay, couple more additions. Let's see how we get on. Rather than going like what Forest did when they got promoted. Shit, we need to sign 30 players. Like, and just go. No, we're just like,
go
no,
for broke. Yeah,
we've got a good solid team here. So if we got promoted, when we get promoted, I think we've got every right to say to Bellingham, like, would you give us 1 year? Like, it's a Premier League year. We wouldn't expect the same in the Championship.
I don't think we'd need to beg these players. I think they've got a love for the club now, and that's what I like about it.
I think if we stay in the Championship, it's a harder thing to ask Bellingham to do another year.
100%.
Yeah.
You will lose a lot of these players if we don't go up this season because they've got that interest and they're holding out because they believe in the team. So I don't think we get another year out of them, but we shall see. I think it is going to be a case.
It's when we get promoted, they'll be happy to stay.
If we don't get promoted this season, we might have to not get promoted next season just to build them players back up again.
It depends on how many you lose, really, if you lose any, but it depends on really how many you do lose.
Right, outs. So, early business was Connolly going out to Millwall for a free.
Yeah,
happy with that one?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was it was a failed experiment. We got him in a bit like we did with Dan's, where we sort of went, right, we're at the end of it. Let's just get him in. He's got experience of this league. This is Connolly I'm talking about in terms of how we signed him, not that they're the same sort of player. Tried him. He worked well for like half a game against Millwall where we played 2 up top. Apart from that, it didn't look like he'd ever really played football before. Apart from in the under-23s when he seemed to score goals for fun. It just didn't work out. So for me, it wasn't a great loss, really.
No. And the rest were loans. Now, whether they turn into purchases or not, I don't know. But obviously, we're going to save on salaries. And some surprising ones. Adil Aushish going to a team in this division.
Yeah, that's an interest. I think that was us sort of saying the jury's still out on him, because when he did come in, say mid-November, he did really well and he did a job for us, but he's going to be behind Mundell, he's going to be behind Watson, he's going to be behind Enzo on the left. You weren't putting him in over Mayenda or Roberts on the right, and he wasn't going to play centrally. So it was one of them. I think we're going to go, right, well, let's let you go out, get some experience of this league, and let's say, awful happened. We didn't go up and we lost, say, Watson to Brighton, Mundell and Bellingham, let's say. You instantly go, Ashish has played in this division. We're capable of doing well with him still. It's like he fits rather than going, right, we need a whole new left side or,
So So do you think he's gone to this division to maintain a standard then?
Yeah, and I think because we never really gave him consistent game time, whether it be last season or this season in this league, and when we did in this little run, I actually thought he was doing all right. It wasn't amazing, but he was doing a job for us.
He impressed on a few. I'm sure I give him man of the match for one.
Yeah, a couple of assists for us, a couple of decent shots, a couple of awful shots as well, I will say, but a couple of decent ones. But he wasn't going to play over Enzo. He just wasn't. And now we've seen why. And so it makes sense to go, okay, try and help Portsmouth stay up. Hopefully not, because I don't like Portsmouth. But try and help them stay up, get some game time under your belt, and then come back and we'll have a look again in the summer.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
2 easy ones. Ben Crompton to Tamworth, young lad, just go and get some experience. That's a given. You get a few of them usually every window. Nathan Bishop, unusual that he left where Dodds was going to. I thought that would have been a good relationship, but
was he playing at Wickham?
I think he was. He was.
While you say the next one.
Anyway, he was. He went to. He's gone to Cambridge on loan anyway, so that's good. Both of them getting experience. Zach Johnson to Notts County. I still like the look of Zach Johnson, but I don't think he's at our league level yet. So I think that's a really good move for him if he gets game time. Notts County are a good team.
I think that's a fair assessment that he's not quite at our level. Looking at it here, Wickham Wanderers, he played 2 games since we loaned him out. So I think that's probably why they've pulled it and gone, is he going to play at Cambridge? Now, granted, he didn't just play in the most recent game, but their most recent game was Wickham. So I think he just left one and got the other. So it was more of a...
Yeah, probably it's best not. Yeah.
Let's just not do that.
Zach Johnson to Notts County, good loan move. He's a player I think we should keep hold of. I wouldn't like to see him go just yet. I want to see something from him. I've got a vibe from him.
I think the two games I've seen in Preston in the Cup and Stoke in the Cup, he didn't impress me too much. But I like you, I sort of go, I think there's something there, but we're just trying to get it going, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I seem to, I can pick these things up. I'm not going to try and blow my own trumpet, but I did for Maja before he came up into the senior team. I was like, he's the future of this club, sort of thing. Same with, well, yeah, that didn't happen, but you know, it was still, but you can tell who's going to be good and who's going to just disappear. Now, talking of disappearing, the wild headless chicken has gone out on loan to Hajduk Split. No, that's Rusyn has gone to Hajduk Split.
I couldn't actually tell who you were talking about there because I know Ba's gone as well, and they've both gone to teams that sound like what you just said.
Spoilers. Rusyn going. Hopefully that becomes a permanent. I hate to be brutal. I gave him all the chances in the world. I wanted to see him do well. He got that goal against Middlesbrough, I want to say.
Chris Packett hands on the keeper.
Yeah. So, I mean...
He also got one against Preston, but it just didn't work out. He just wasn't... I mean, when we saw him this season, I remember just thinking, your running's great. Like, it really is. But you're never where I want you to be. Like you're never where you should be as a central striker. You were always somewhere else, and it was like you should be there. And like you've moved from there to get to there, and now you. Yeah.
Definitely our little Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it didn't work. But it's a bit like if you look at the 4 strikers we bought last season in Burstow, Hamir, Mayenda, and Rusyn. Really, only one of them's worked out, but we've got a great deal in Hamir where we either didn't lose any money or we just send him out. Burstow was a loan, so no real loss there. Rusyn didn't work out, you know, best of luck going forward, and Mayenda's coming good this season.
Yeah, I mean, so we're going to get return investment just by the one, you know. Last one, which you've already ruined, is Ba. He's still at the club. He still exists. Yeah. He's still a person, and he's gone to Dunkirk. You know, hopefully we can not go and rescue him with small boats like we did in Dunkirk, and we'll just leave him there.
Stop the boats, but in a different way this time.
You can't say stop the boats on YouTube.
I know, I've just realised I've said that. Yeah, I've realised what I've said there.
We're talking about World War II in history. Calm down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bar's gone. Hopefully, again, we don't need him, right? He's never going to come good. He came good for... 86 minutes to 90 minutes when we played Newcastle. That's his good moment. And 4 minutes.
He had a little spell in I think it was Mowbray's second half of the first season he was with us, and then just before Mowbray left, he was sort of playing on that right side a bit while Roberts was injured. But nothing like earth shattering. Do you know what I mean?
Nothing like we've already got.
Like
the same with a deal. He's never going to get past the players that are on the pitch.
Yeah, and he was never going to play over any of them.
He's never going to play over Al-Shish. He's never going to play... You know, I'd put Rusyn on before I put Ba on. So
I think the best thing I can say about Ba is when we asked him to do things weird, like, can you play up front on your own away at Norwich as a false 9, and he wins us the game 1-0, scoring from outside the box. He's sitting there going, what? Like, what? Where's this? And then he'll like run in and half volley a third goal against QPR, and you're sitting there going, how have you done? What have you done that? But then when you ask him to shoot normally or just pass it 3 yards, no.
Yeah, I've said it a few times. He's one of those players where there's moments of brilliance, but it's sandwiched between useless, weak, pish.
Yeah,
as the Scottish would say.
Yeah, pretty much it. It's like it's one of them again. It's a shame it didn't work out, you know, but unfortunately they not all will. I think we signed him at the same time as we signed Bennett. We signed Michu on loan, and I want to say there was somebody else. It wasn't Ashish, but it might have been Ashish actually. I don't remember, but there was 4 that came in at once, and he was part of like that sort of quad of people that came in, and really, I can't remember the 4th one. It might have been Ashish, but it just feels like none of them really sort of set the world alight.
Yeah. So we'll wait and see towards the end of the season if any of them become more permanent.
What would you rate it if you had to give it a rank? The transfer window.
The transfer window. I mean,
yeah, for us.
Didn't get the striker that I technically wanted, but I would still give it 10 out of 10 for me. And that's people are going to think I'm ridiculously optimistic there, but we didn't overspend. We didn't bring in a lot of players we don't need. We got some absolute quality in Enzo. We did the deal with Wilson Isidor, so we're not going to get stiffed like at the end of the season. And last minute, we've got a player in that Jurgen Klopp described as really special. And Liverpool fans are absolutely saying he's brilliant. So great business. That's better than 10 signings of who the hell is he? I'm going to have to Google him for half an hour and look at his YouTube highlights.
Yeah, I agree. I think I wouldn't quite say it's 10. It's never perfect, of course, but I would sit there and go, it's a solid 8 or 9 for me.
Sorry, 10 out of 11. I meant
10 out of 11. Oh, that's fair enough. Then for me, that's a 9 out of 11. 9 out of 11. Like you say, we just didn't quite get another top striker across, which is what I was hoping for.
But I don't think we need it. We've just made a top striker permanent. We've just brought in a really young striker that is absolutely bagging goals every time he plays. So let's see what he can do.
Let's hope he carries that on for us.
Exactly. So let us know what you think of the transfer window. Get your ratings in below, out of 10 or 11. Do it out of 11, just to be
honest. Do it out of 11,
yeah. Let us know what you think, and what do you think we missed out on? Is there a position we really need to sign for that you think we should have gone for? Love to hear your comments on this ones, guys. Conrad, any final thoughts and goodbyes for the wonderful millions and millions of viewers around the world?
Yeah, just please hit the like button. Really helps us out. And subscribe if you haven't. We're doing pretty well. We're on 1,250 and we only got 1,000, a couple of weeks back, really? So,
and
doing really well.
The last live stream, we got our first £2 super chat, so we're quids in. Like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, we're saving up for a cornetto each.
Yeah, we're off to Vegas.
Off to Vegas. I'm going to double it. Woo!
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, all we want is like, subscribe, that lovely stuff. Introduce us to somebody else. Get the following up, and that's
take their phone, subscribe for them, all that wonderful stuff.
There we go. Give it them back though. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you all in another video really soon. Goodbye.
See ya.